Hey guys, I'm Professor Kong, and I've decided to do something new for Boomsday project. At the beginning of each expansion, I kind of like to forget about the old meta and really just try to create the strongest possible decks I can with the new cards. So instead of reviewing all 135 cards individually, I've decided to make this video about new decks and review the cards in that context. The first deck I'm going to be talking about is Treant Druid. So before I even talk about the deck, I wanted to talk about the two new Druid legendaries and why I think they are and aren't good. So the first one I want to talk about is Flobidinius Floop. So I want to talk about why it actually isn't that good, because I know that this card had really good reviews among the community, and a lot of people thought that this card, or think that this card might make Malygos Druid or maybe even Togwaggle Druid really OP. I don't think it's actually that good. So the point of this card is that you could play Malygos for 9 mana, and then you could just play this card for 4 mana the next turn, and you can immediately swipe or something. But I think the problem with that is, part of the reason why the Twig Malygos stuff is so strong is because you can front load all the mana from Twig on previous turns and just go at it. You know, even though it's kind of telegraphed, it's not. I don't think you want to combo by playing a 9 mana card previous turn and then comboing next turn. And also, I feel like a lot of players, like top players, when they play Malygos Druid, they don't play it very strict on combo. They play it kind of for tempo. So you rarely see top players aiming for the moon and getting the full Malygos combo off. It's kind of just, you play Alex Draws and Ultimate Infestation, you just try to deal 30 damage. So in this kind of context, I don't actually think the new Druid Legendary Flobidinius Floop is that great for combo decks. I wouldn't be running that card in this deck as well. The next Druid Legendary I want to talk about is Floop's Glorious Gloop. So this is actually one of the reasons why I wanted to play Treant Druid. This card is really good with minion decks, because for minion decks you get to trade off, you get to dictate a lot of trades on your turn, and you can get the full effect of this card where you get a lot of mana. There's not a lot of Druid archetypes right now that actually play proactive minions and can really dictate trades. I believe that this new Treant Druid will be able to have a lot of these properties while still maintaining, it'll have a lot of the benefits that Malygos Druid and Token Druid have at the moment, which is being able to run a lot of the really good Druid cards like Ultimate Infestation, Spreading Plague, Malfurion, and having really solid game plans against different archetypes. I actually want to talk about this card in particular relevance with Living Mana. So one of the things about Living Mana is that when you're playing this card, your opponent oftentimes doesn't want to clear out all the treants immediately. Like the card Living Mana it's really overpowered if your opponent has to kill every one of these treants, because you get so many for the mana cost of it. Even if they do kill all these treants, you effectively get all these dead treants for the new card Mulch Muncher, which is one of the goals of your deck. So oftentimes people kind of want to play just like a big taunt minion and force you to make the trades on your turn, and that way you don't get the mana back from the treants. So when you're doing this, when they're doing that, they're really exposing themselves to this new card, Floop's Glorious Gloop. You know, and this card is actually really powerful in this deck because you can oftentimes ramp to Ultimate Infestation, which is basically the goal of any Ultimate Infestation deck, ASAP, extremely fast. And also, since this deck is running Arcane Tyrants and Mulch Munchers, oftentimes you can, it's very rare for an Ultimate Infestation deck to be able to play Ultimate Infestations back to back, because the first one often draws the second one. Their hand size is too big. But with this kind of deck, since you have so many potentially free cards, I actually feel like you can actually kind of play them back to back fairly fast. So the Treant package in this deck consists of Landscaping, Living Mana, Cenarius, and Tending Tauren. These cards will hopefully generate enough Treants for your Mulch Muncher to become free really quickly. The next card I want to talk about for this deck is Gloop Sprayer. So this is actually it's like a pretty powerful card. It really reminds me of Bone Mare as like an 8 mana 4/4. This card generates like a big pile of stats for one card. It does cost a lot of mana, but the main thing about this card is just the insane amount of stats it can generate. So because we're running Arcane Tyrant and Mulch Muncher, hopefully with this card we'll be able to get maybe even like 8 mana for like 16 worth of stats fairly often. You're going to be able to threaten kills immediately after playing this card. The last card I want to talk about for this deck is Omega Defender. I wasn't sure how good this card was when it initially got released, but I think a 4 mana 2/6 taunt it's like barely passable, but because this deck is so focused on getting to 10 mana for Ultimate Infestation, and because so much of your card draw in this deck comes from post Ultimate Infestation, that I feel like the majority of time you're playing Omega Defender, you'll already have 10 mana, so then you're going to be able to get a 4 mana 12/6 taunt with the potential to be copied by Gloop Sprayer. So yeah, that's like the whole deck. You kind of like draw through your deck really fast, create a lot of big boards, and the combination of cards like Savage Roar and Branching Paths and just the giant bundle of stats should be able to kill people. You get a lot of like the best of both worlds with being able to play Arbor games against some decks. You can play the spreading play game against aggro, and against the Storm Control decks, hopefully you have just enough bodies to get kills out of nowhere almost every game.